Markets remained fairly steady overnight, holding on to the strong gains recorded in the previous night, following a strong rally in equities. The New Zealand dollar currently hovers just below 78 cents against the US dollar. The tone of economic data out overnight was actually fairly encouraging. Nonetheless, the markets still remain a little bit wary of the Eurozone situation. In particular, in the US, we saw a very encouraging manufacturing report, which points to a recovery in manufacturing activity towards the end of the year. Turning to Europe, we also saw some strong demand for bond auctions for France and Spain. This is a very encouraging sign, which did see bond yields decline slightly. However, there is some speculation that a lot of the buying for these bonds is coming from the European Central Bank rather than genuine investors. In addition, bond yields do remain too high for these countries. Now, looking ahead, the next key date for Europe is the 9th of December, when we have the European Leaders Summit. Until then, market direction is likely to be dictated by the tone of the US employment report, which is out over this weekend. Export data for the September quarter was released in New Zealand yesterday, and it showed some early signs of activity starting to slip as a result of slowing demand in the Asia Pacific. In particular, we saw a decline in export volumes, which was led by declines in non-food manufacturers and forestry. Demand for forestry has eased, and we've seen declines for both prices and volumes over recent quarters. Much of this is due to weakness in Chinese demand that we've seen through the middle of the year. Forestry is one of those commodities that is more sensitive to global growth. As a result, the forestry outlook is slightly weaker going forward. With slowing growth in Europe and US, it's likely to have a knock-on impact to Chinese export activity, and this should reduce demand for forestry in the near term. However, from mid-2012, we do expect that demand for forestry will start to pick up as we start to see some rebuilding activity coming through in Christchurch. There was some good news in the report where we saw dairy and meat prices remain quite elevated. These helped hold the terms of trade up at the highest level since 1974. We expect dairy prices will remain reasonably firm over the rest of the year and continue to find good support, although we do note that the potential for the Eurozone crisis to deteriorate does pose some downside risk to this view.